Do you want to learn how to drift like this on Xbox with a wheel? If you do, this video is for you. However, it doesn't matter what platform you're on unless you are using some type of mod or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, first things first, for beginning drift cars, I recommend a car with a longer wheelbase. This means more length between the front and the rear wheels. This is because it gives you a smoother drift or transition. And if you don't want to use any of these cars, that's okay, but it's just a recommendation because it gives you smoother transitions and it makes it easier to drift. So if you're using a manual with your shifter, I recommend the BMW M392 because this one actually lets you shift with your manual. But if you don't have a shifter, I recommend the BMW Z4 E89 because this one, if you have it on all manual settings, you can still only use the paddle shifters. Alright, now, before the basics, I just want to talk about this one thing. I'm not sure if it's the same for PC or PlayStation, but on Xbox, drifting Assetto Corsa is not the same as other platforms. You need to go into the actual drift game mode because the drift track isn't an option in practice. So you're going to be given a time limit, and I'm not sure how that is for PlayStation or PC, but I just wanted to talk about that before we get into any of the basics with drifting. So without further ado, let's actually get into the basics. Alright, now for initiating a drift, we're going to go over two things: initiating a drift with a manual car and a semi-automatic car. So I'm going to show you guys two ways to initiate a drift with this manual and two ways to initiate a drift with the semi-automatic car. So first, with this manual, you have two ways to initiate a drift. One, clutch kicking, and two is handbrake. However, I'm only going to show you guys the clutch kick because I don't have a handbrake. I'm going to get one soon, I think. I really don't know, honestly. But first of all, I'll show you guys the clutch kick. Let me go to a good part of the track that I'm actually good at really quickly. Alright, now for a clutch kick, you're going to make sure your RPMs are low. And then you are going to... Alright, make sure you're either in second or third gear for clutch kicking in this car because you don't have enough power in first gear. So I'm going to go to second gear for this. So for clutch kicking, you're going to make sure your RPMs are relatively low and you're going to punch the clutch in, slam on the throttle, and then kick the clutch back out. So I'm going to give you guys one more example of clutch kicking. There you go. Alright, now for a semi-automatic car where you have to use paddle shifters and the clutch is automatic. You have two ways, once again, of initiating drift. First, again, I'm only going to show you the first way because I don't have a handbrake. So the first way is shifting enough weight to get your car in a slide. So first thing, I'm going to go into second gear, just like last time, so we have enough power. And while you're turning, you're going to give more throttle, like that. And then that's how you initiate a slide in this car. Alright, so this is going to be a short section in the video. It's just throttle control. It's just one thing, the throttle. And it's in the name. If I don't control the throttle, the car is going to do things I don't want it to do, like oversteer or understeer. So when you're with throttle control, usually when you start a drift, you're feathering the throttle like this, trying to find a comfortable percent to give the throttle like 80%. On these long corners, when I find a nice spot, it's usually about 80 to 90% throttle. So I'm not fighting the wheel the entire time. And so pretty much we just went over feathering the throttle and finding a comfortable amount of throttle to give the car. I use left foot braking for a lot of things, like straightening out, giving the car more angle, and transitioning. We will get to the transitioning later, but for giving the car more angle, I mean when I give the car more angle, I'm giving more throttle input and less brake input. So I'm still left foot braking, but I'm giving just enough brake so the rear slides out more. And here's a good example of that. See how I was giving more throttle but less brake? That was a great example because I spun out, yes, but did the rear slide out more and I got more angle? Yes. So for straightening out, it's kind of easy to straighten out. If you're swerving like this on a straight, you can kind of just give it some brake until the car straightens out. Okay, so for transitioning, there's like a bunch of different ways to transition, and I'm gonna show you guys the multiple ways I use. Some are easier, some are difficult, and some you can use with a manual car, and some you can use with a semi-automatic car. So for this first way, it's pretty much just like initiating a drift, where you clutch kick, and then to give the car more power, you clutch kick again right before you transition and give the throttle little to no power. So if you were to give the throttle power, then you could snap back and oversteer. But that's one way I use to transition. Another is pretty much just don't give the car any throttle at all. Here's an example. I didn't give I didn't give any throttle at all. It gave the car an easy transition, maybe a little messy transition, so I had to get back on the throttle to fully complete the transition. But it's a very easy way to transition if you're a beginner, and to let the wheel do the work and spin back so you can what do you call it?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Counter steer. And then another way, you can also use left foot braking for transitioning as well. If you're holding a lot of angle and you feel like you're gonna spin out when you transition, left foot braking is a great way to slow the car down. Like, for example, if you hadn't used enough brake, like I just did, then you could spin out. So that's another thing left foot braking is great for, transitioning. So those are some of the multiple ways I use to transition. And hopefully you guys like the tutorial on how to drift. And remember, disclaimer, drifting takes a lot of time to learn. Like, I'm still learning. I've only been practicing a month, and these are only things I picked up along the way. I've realized along the way, so I can share with you guys. So don't get mad if you're not going pro in the first week. And if this isn't helpful to you, I apologize.